Hello, everyone. This is another Black Conservative. I am Ryan Bolin. Thank you for joining me. In the midst of all the crazy stuff that is going on, every now and then it's good to hear some good news. And what I'm about to talk about in this particular article is what I consider to be good news. And what is that good news? There was a woman attending the graduation party that used in Charleston, West Virginia, that used her gun to stop a man who had an AR-15, according to the article, had an AR-15 and was going to come in and try to gun down the people. And she stopped them because she had a gun. So look, we're going to get into this article and I'm going to give you my detailed opinion on this. But this is good news. This shows that those who legally have guns should be allowed to have guns. Okay. And that things could have been a whole lot worse. But let's get into this. Let's get into this. The title of this article is "Woman with Pistol Stops Man Firing at Graduation Party Crowd with an AR-15." And I'm going to get into this whole thing with this AR-15 situation. It's like, and they got a picture of the guy here. And I'm going to leave a link of the article in the description box below. But there's a picture of this guy, smug look on his face. And I'm going to tell you, give you a description of who this person is, what ethnicity he is, and I'm gonna give you all of that. But if you link to it in the article, find a link to it in the article in the description box, you'll see. An alleged attacker with an AR-15 was shot dead in Charleston, West Virginia Wednesday night by a woman who was carrying a pistol for self-defense. Dennis Butler was armed with an AR-15 and allegedly shot, quote, at dozens of people attending a graduation party, end quote, WCHS-TV reported. Police indicate a woman pulled a pistol and shot Butler, killing him. Charleston Police Department Chief of Detective Tony Hazlett said, quote, instead of running from the threat, she engaged with the threat and saved several lives last night, end quote. Butler was 37 years old, the Washington Post noted. The woman who shot him dead waited afterwards for police and was cooperative when they arrived. Here's even more good news. None of the graduation party attendees were harmed. Ha ha ha. Let's get into this. First and foremost, I congratulate that woman herself for engaging this individual and getting rid of the threat. Hurrah for her. But let me just say this. It's interesting and at the same time infuriating that progressive Democrats want to take guns away from law-abiding citizens. Now, I know somebody eventually is going to say, if they have not said already to me, why you keep getting on these Democrats? Why you keep getting on these Democrats? The only reason why I'm getting on the Democrats is because they're the ones that's doing this type of stuff. I don't hear of any Republicans. I'm not saying the Republicans are perfect. I'm not. I'm pretty sure there are some shady ones out there. And the ones that I get on are the rhinos, the Republicans in name only, that betray the mass of people and feed into what these progressive Democrats are doing. But I'm getting on the progressive Democrats because they're the ones doing this. They're the ones pushing critical race theory. They're the ones pushing transgenderism. They're the ones pushing this type of stuff on our young people. They're the ones trying to take guns from law-abiding citizens. And here we have an instant situation where a woman who legally had firearms, more than likely, didn't get into detail in the article, but I'm pretty sure she legally had that firearm. And she used it against this man that was using a AR-15. What's up with the AR-15s? I have no idea. But she used her gun to stop the threat. And had she not had a gun, I can only imagine the damage that this crazy man would have initiated against these people in this graduation ceremony. I can only imagine. Now, let me talk about the person that they had a picture of. Guess what race he was? You guessed it. It's a black man. Smug. That just look on his face like, I don't care. Now that picture could have been from anything. It could have been his mugshot, or it could have been something from a long time ago. I don't know. But it's a smug look he has on his face. And I don't feel sorry for anyone that wants to do damage to a bunch of innocent people. Now, unfortunately, I will say this because I don't want to sound like I'm hateful. I am a minister after all. I just hate evil. Okay. Unfortunately, he ended up losing his life. He was a young man, 37 years old, lost his life over for whatever reason, whatever mental disease or situation he was going through was going on in his head. He lost his life over it for nothing. But this is an African. This is a black man that committed this crime, that was about to commit this crime with an AR-15. Now, my question is this. I won't even say question. I'm going to make an assumption that the mainstream news, CNN, MSNBC, CBS, and ABC probably won't cover this story, or if they do, it's going to be real short. Real short. Why? For two reasons. Number one, the initiator or the one that tried to commit these murderous act was a black man. That would destroy the mainstream media's leftist narrative that states that white police officers and white people are just going around arbitrarily killing black people due to white supremacy. So it destroys their narrative. Clearly the man was black. Clearly he went in with AR-15 and clearly he wanted to do damage. So they're not going to cover that. And if they do, they're going to spend not very long on it. Number two, it supports law-abiding citizens having guns. Because clearly this woman had a gun at the graduation ceremony. She used it, took the man out, saved the lives, more than likely saved the lives of every individual in that place. You think that's going to get any coverage? If it do on the mainstream media, I am shocked. But if it doesn't get any coverage, then you know there's a bias. No one can say that there is no bias. They can't say that. Well, there ain't no bias. Look at here. If they don't show this, and they don't talk about this on CNN, MSNBC, CBS, ABC, and give due coverage to it, then there's a bias. Because they're spinning a narrative that's feeding into the hearts and minds of gullible, and I hate to say ignorant people who don't want to take the time, not all of them, but gullible and ignorant-minded people who don't want to take the time to watch alternative news sources to get the other side so that they have a full scope of what's going on. So they'll be able to make proper decisions come November. So you can get these clowns out of the Senate and out of the House of Representatives because they're destroying this country with their policies and the laws they're pushing. They're in part contributing to the destruction of this country. And I'm going to say that, I'm going to keep saying it until they change. And I don't think they're going to change because they're apostates as far as I'm concerned. They show that all the time. So this is good news. This is good news. And I'm glad that this lady did this. This once again supports the idea of law-abiding citizens having arms. It's hard to argue this. It's hard to argue this. Who's going to argue against this? Well, she shouldn't have had man, come on. Who's going to argue against that? I wouldn't even argue with anybody about it. I wouldn't even, what argument are they going to mention? What are they going to bring up? Well, I'm going to bring it up. And I just brought it up. And this is not fake news. I'm pretty sure this actually happened. Breitbart didn't make this up. So let's see what the mainstream news is going to do about this. Let's see what they're going to do. Let's see if they're going to cover this. Let me know in the comment section below a week after, a few days after now, if they did mention it. I want to know. And if they get it any extended time. When that guy did what he did in Buffalo, white supremacists. White supremacists. It's all they're talking about. White supremacy, white supremacy, white supremacy. This guy here in the school, he wasn't a white person. I think he was, I don't know if he wasn't white, neither was he black. So I'm pretty sure the mainstream media probably didn't pay much attention to his race. But what is the mainstream media doing? What is the reporters told to do? And what are the progressive Democrats talking about? Gun control. With the guy in Buffalo, it was white supremacy. With this guy, it's gun control. We got to get them doggone guns. Get them guns. Get them AR-15s and get them assault weapons. Assault weapons and AR-15s. Assault weapons, AR-15s. Assault weapons, AR-15s. Gun control. Gun control. Assault weapons, AR-15s. Gun control. That's constantly being spewed at millions of people all the time. It's becoming a part of their subconscious. And that's the whole point. That's the whole idea. Wake up, America. You're being fooled. You're being duped because I just gave you some information right here. I just gave you some information right here. This is just one of many examples of people who have legally have firearms, and they have stopped the threat by using those firearms. More people could have gotten killed and shot had she not been there. In fact, it says no one was harmed. Thank God. So what do you guys think about this? Leave your comment in the comment section below. If you like this video, press the like button, share this video, and subscribe. God bless you all, and see you again on another Black Conservative with Ryan Bowling.